Hi, guys. Welcome back to Storytime Society. I feel like I'm a little bit far away today for some reason. Like the camera's a little far away. Um, it's been literally raining like crazy all day. It's been pouring. I have my little orangey Frankers. He's right here, and I'm afraid that he's gonna like bite on the cords because he loves to chew on cords and shoes. Terrible. That's the worst part about him, although I love him. And he also loves to bite my calves when he's hungry or just like wants attention. And I'm just like standing there, and then he'll rub his body up against my leg and then like chomp on my calf or my ankle. Not nice at all. But anyways, this is Wednesday's episode, so I really hope that you enjoy it. And I'm trying to think of some other stuff that I may have to update you guys on, but I mean, I just saw you yesterday, so I don't really think I have much to update you guys on. Leave a comment because you guys know I love to talk to you. Subscribe, like the video, and maybe even share it with a friend or a family member that likes these kinds of videos. Also, get your drink. I have my latte that I already drank most of because I've been drinking it for the past like 2 hours. I needed some energy. I'm really tired all the time. My cats wake me up so many times a night, and I get up at like 3:34 to feed them, and then they're just like rambunctious sometimes, and then sometimes they like sleep through the night, and then sometimes they don't, and then I don't know. I have 3 of them now, so it's even crazier. But hopefully in our next apartment, because we're gonna move soon, we're gonna hopefully get a townhouse with 2 bedrooms and like maybe 2 floors, like levels, so that they have a little bit more extra room to roam around in, because right now they only have the living room and our room, so it's like I don't blame them. But anyways, let's start the episode. I have been wanting to read this story for a while, and I keep seeing it because there's updates. There's like a bunch of updates, I'm pretty sure. So I keep seeing it on my timeline, and it's looking very interesting. Okay, so Frank! Hey! Frank! Okay. That was so annoying. Of course he does that. And I think he just chopped one of the roses in half, one of the stems that my boyfriend got me for my anniversary, or our anniversary. Okay, this is the title. My stepdaughter died 4 weeks ago, and I caught my husband and his ex-wife in our bed. Trigger warnings: death of a minor, car accident, infidelity, unaliving attempts, emotional distress, and possible emotional abuse. The original post was posted on May 10th, 2024. My stepdaughter, Becca, 14 female, died 4 weeks ago. I've been in her life since she was 7 years old. We were extremely close. My husband, Derek, 40 male, his ex-wife, Sam, 38 female, and I, 35 female, get along very well. There has never been an issue in the 7 years that I've been with Derek. Sam has always been kind to me. She didn't even care that Becca called me mom, too. Right after Becca's passing, Sam had so much anxiety and depression that she was unable to be by herself. She has no family besides us. So we invited her to stay with us. Sam hardly leaves the house. She mostly sleeps in Becca's room, which is completely understandable. I always tell her that I'm here if she needs me and that I want her to take her time with grieving, and there's no pressure to get her back home. Today I needed to run some errands, so I asked Sam if she'd like to join to get out of the house, but she declined and said she'd rather just stay home at the house and sleep. I told Derek that I was leaving and that I would be back in 2-ish hours. He works from home. I also told him to check on Sam every once in a while and maybe try to get her to eat something. After stopping at the post office, I realized I forgot my library book that I needed to return, so I went back home to get it. As soon as I was walking in the door, I heard moaning coming from mine and Derek's bedroom. I immediately knew what was happening, and my heart completely broke in that moment. I wasn't completely sure what to do, but I ended up deciding to confront them, so I walked to the bedroom and opened the door and began yelling at them both. Sam started having an anxiety attack and ran to the bathroom while Derek kept apologizing profusely. I asked him what the hell was happening, and he told me that he made himself and Sam some lunch, and they began talking about Becca and shared some memories. And then Sam ended up kissing him and didn't pull back. And then it ended with them in our bed. They're begging me to understand that it was just grief that caused them to become intimate and that they both made a mistake. I don't know what to do. I love this man and I love Sam. I'm heartbroken that they did this to me and put me in this position, and I feel so sick. Or I feel so stuck. Okay, so some of the relevant comments are, that would be hard for me. I understand grieving, but how is this excusing cheating? What happens next time he is sad? Edit, I misspoke when I said sad. Obviously, this is something beyond devastating. I still don't think it can be used as an excuse. I don't want to excuse his cheating. I think I want to divorce him, but I'm anxious about doing it right after we lost Becca. Probably together. Do you both own the home? Wait, what? Probably together? I don't get what she's saying. Someone else commented, probably together. Do you both own the home? If it's in your name, change the locks, stay strong, and don't listen to his excuses. I am so sorry that this happened to you during such a difficult time. Exactly what I was thinking, if I'm being honest. And yes, we both own it. When I told him to leave, he kept saying sorry and then said that he would leave and respect me wanting him gone for a while. Are you seeing a therapist perhaps? You're dealing with a lot right now. It might be useful. Yes, I am in therapy. I've been with my therapist for other things for the last 3 years. She's been very helpful. I saw her yesterday and was able to figure some things out. I feel like this sounds like a movie, because I feel like in a lot of popular movies, when this kind of thing happens and the parents of the child that passes away get together, they end up cheating. I just feel like that sounds like a movie, and I can't relate because I have never had this happen to me, so I don't really know how I'd react. And although I do believe, I don't think that it's an excuse, and I don't think that it's fair to use it as an excuse, I also don't know how it feels to grieve this hard for someone that close to you. Losing a child just must be absolutely an insane feeling. I mean, something that I don't think compares to anything else. It's like losing your child, especially a young child, 14 years old, that you birthed and you made and you created, and they're a part of you. So I can imagine, obviously the divorced couple has so many things they can connect on from that, because they are the girl's parents. So I feel like maybe it was partly a comfortability thing, and I don't know, just the moment got the best of them and they were sharing a moment together, and obviously it ended very terribly and very disrespectfully, because clearly that's not an okay thing to do whatsoever. And I don't think that OP should forgive him at all, but it's just hard to say he is wrong for that, but at the same time it's they both are wrong for it. But at the same time it's just I can only imagine what they're going through and just what's going on in their mind, and maybe they just thought for a second that this would help them escape a little bit of the grief. I don't know. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying that must be a really hard thing to go through. But I also don't expect OP to forgive him or her for that. So it's a pretty tough situation. Okay, update number 1, May 11th, 2024. I decided that I'm filing for a divorce. I can't ever trust Derek again. It sucks because we had an amazing relationship, I thought. He's always been great, so this was a complete shock to me. Last night, Derek came over to talk. He confessed a lot. Turns out it wasn't their first time having sex like most people thought. They've been having sex since 3 months before Becca died. I'm completely shocked and heartbroken. Sam also reached out last night and thanked me for everything I've done for her and told me she was sorry. I didn't respond. I blocked her. I did so much for Sam and considered her a friend, so this hurts a lot, more than I can handle. This is all too much. As hard as it's going to be, I need to leave Derek and cut them both out of my life. I'm ready to do so. I am done. Also, some people are saying I deserved this because I should have known better than to let Sam into our home around Derek. But you need to understand that I'm a giving person. I trust people more than I should, and I truly thought Sam was an amazing person. I know it's unusual to become friends with your husband's ex-wife, but it's just how it went for us, and I shouldn't be blamed for what happened. Thank you to everyone who commented nice things and for the kind messages. You've all been helpful during this insanely difficult time. I appreciate it. Okay, so that just redacts everything that I just said about grieving and making a mistake, because obviously this happened before she even passed away and it's been happening for a long while. So all I have to say to that is F them both and literally never speak to them again, other than when you have to, like through the divorce process. And then after that, literally cut contact forever, because they can actually S a D and choke on it. Also, why are people blaming her? You deserve this because you should have known better than to let Sam into your home around Derek. Oh, because it's the woman's fault. It's the woman's fault that the guy couldn't keep his penis in his pants. So now it's her fault that she let his ex around him. Like what? She shouldn't trust her husband to not cheat on her? Like what? That's actually so annoying when they blame the woman. Like, oh, well, you shouldn't have let him do that. What do you mean? I am not this man's mother. I do not control what he does and what decisions he makes, but you kind of just trust someone that you're married to enough to be like, well, you guys are going through a really hard time. She can't stay by herself because maybe she has really bad thoughts going on in her mind. You're being a nice person, letting her come stay with you guys. How in the world can that ever be that woman's fault? Like, excuse me? Why is it always the woman's fault? It's actually insane to me. And I can't believe there are people that genuinely believe that. Okay, relevant comments. Out of curiosity, what are his excuses for cheating? Those two are going to be in a world of hurt once the guilt settles in. They're going to be asking themselves why it had to be Becca, and will eventually come to the conclusion that it's their punishment for what they've done to you. I can pretty much guarantee you that. Then OP commented, he told me that they just accidentally reconnected one night when I was away at my mom's. He was stressed we weren't conceiving and were having miscarriages, so he vented to Sam, and then somehow that led to sex. It seems so icky to me. How can he even vent about our struggles like that and then go and sleep with Sam? It's just awful of him, and I don't understand it. Yeah, I don't understand it either. Okay, update number 2, May 13th, 2024. I'm getting lots of questions about some things, so I figured I'd answer a few of them. Have I told anyone what happened besides my mom? Yes. I told a few friends and some family members. Most of them are supportive of my decision and aren't speaking to Derek. Where is Derek staying? Currently, he's staying at a hotel. Our friends refuse to let him stay with them. He's lost a lot of people due to his awful decisions. Has he tried fighting me on getting a divorce? Yes, he begged me to not file for divorce, but when I told him I needed him to just let me go and that I was too exhausted to fight him on this, he let it be and agreed to getting a divorce. Why isn't Derek staying with Sam? He told me he didn't want to continue to hurt me, so he told Sam he was done with her for good and that they have no reason to speak to each other anymore. I have no idea if that'll last and if they'll just end up together, but I truly don't care what they do anymore. I just want peace. What was Derek's excuse for cheating? He told me that they just accidentally reconnected one night. Okay, we already read that in the previous comment. Feel free to ask anything else, and I'll try to answer. I mean, it's a little too late to not want to continue to hurt her anymore. Like, okay, you should have maybe made that decision long before. Okay, so some relevant comments are, so OP addressing what happened to Becca. It was very sudden. She died in a car accident when she was with one of her friends and her friend's parents. And then OP on her husband's parents being supportive or not, and if they know about his cheating. She said, I get along with Derek's mom very well, but he's also a mama's boy, so it's kind of complicated. She will always be there for him. He'd stay with her if she didn't live across the country. She knows what he did and told me she had a talk with him, but said that he's still her son and she'd help him with anything if he needed it. I'm thinking I need to cut her out of my life too, which makes me really sad because we were close and talked on the phone almost daily. Yeah, that's sad, but I mean, you definitely can't keep in contact with her. She's always going to be on his side. Like, she's never going to be like, she's obviously going to be, no, like, obviously he was wrong for that, but she's always going to take his side, and you're never going to be truly able to connect with her. And you don't want anyone in your life that ties you back to that man. She said, we've had 6 miscarriages total. All of them were in the first trimester. That's really sad. So she doesn't have any kids with her husband. 6 miscarriages? That's a lot. That's so sad. Okay, more updates. This is from May 14th, 2024. I just found out that he's staying with Sam and not at the hotel. Of course he is. He told me it's too expensive to stay at a hotel, and Sam is the only one that'll help him right now. I had a feeling this would happen. Just knowing that they're still probably sleeping together hurts my heart. I talked to a lawyer this morning, and we are proceeding with the divorce, and Derek agreed to it. It's actually happening, and I feel some relief that he's not fighting me on this. My mom leaves on Sunday. I'm scared to be alone, but I go back to work on Monday, so I'm hoping it'll be a good distraction. I'll keep updating if anything else happens. Thank you, everyone. I'm so grateful for you all. OP, how did you find out he was staying with at his ex-wife's place? Anything he says should be taken with a grain of salt. He is not true to his words in going on no contact with Sam. He texted me this morning after we talked to lawyers and said he just wants to be honest with me. I told him to stop giving me updates on what he's doing in his life and that it's not something I need to know. It seems like he wanted to tell me to hurt me. OP said, I'm doing a little better today. My mom and I went on some nature walks and went out into the garden this afternoon. That helped. Becca loved gardening with me, so it made me feel closer to her. Aww. Oh, God. Okay, this update is called Becca's Diary, and this was on May 15th, 2024. She said, I decided to go through some of Becca's stuff today. I just found her diary in a box in the back of her closet. Would I be wrong to read some of it? I feel like it would help me feel closer to her, but part of me feels like it's wrong too. I haven't told Derek that I found it either, and I'm unsure if I should tell him. What would you do? This says OP on if she was closer with Becca prior to her sudden passing. Becca and I were very close. It felt like she told me anything and everything, but I honestly think all parents feel that way about their kids, so I'm kind of nervous to read it. Next update is May 19th, 2024. I figured it's been a few days, so I should give a little update. My mom is leaving in a couple hours, so I'll be alone. I'm kind of nervous about it. She helped me stay distracted and kept me going. I don't know how I'm going to handle her being gone. I go back to work tomorrow, first day since Becca passed away. I'm looking forward to it, though, because it'll keep me distracted. Also, I did read some of Becca's diary. It made me love her even more. She was such a sweetheart. I went back a few months and saw she noticed some weird behavior between Derek and Sam. She didn't mention that she knew of the affair, but she just wrote that she thought it was kind of strange that they all 3 would hang out more than usual without me. I might read more, but so far I haven't found anything that's disturbing. Just her being a teenager and talking about crushes, fights with friends, happy family memories, etc. Tomorrow I'm also talking to my lawyer, so I might have some more updates on that. Thanks for the continuous love and support. Okay, so I think there's only 2 more updates, and then that is it, because the last update was posted June 1st. Okay, the next update is May 26th, 2024. Started randomly getting a lot more messages and comments, so I figured I'd do another little update. My first week back at work went great. I wasn't expecting it to go so well, but thankfully it did. My coworkers were so helpful and patient with me. On Friday night, I decided I didn't want to stay home all weekend alone, so I decided to drive up to my mom's. It helps. I have a 3-day weekend so I can spend more time with her. I'm heading back home tomorrow. Also, for those of you that message me hateful things for reading Becca's diary, I just have to say you aren't in my shoes right now. Telling me I'm a bad mom because I'm reading her diary is just ridiculous. I learned so much more about her, about how caring and sweet she is, and it made me love her even more. It's how I'm able to feel close to her right now. So please don't tell me I'm a bad parent just for trying to get by one of the hardest times of my life. You have no idea what it's like. I don't have much of an update, so this will be it. I'll come back and update once the divorce happens, though. Thank you to those of you who have been nothing but kind and helpful. You helped me feel less alone. I'll forever be grateful. I'm pretty sure it's fine. Like, I mean, not to say that, like, you shouldn't respect someone that passed away, but I'm pretty sure reading someone's diary that passed away you're not, like, the intentions are not malicious. It's not like she's like, I'm going to read this so then I can expose all of her secrets. She's reading it because she wants to feel closer to her stepdaughter that just literally passed away in a freak accident. So, in what worlds is that, like, making her a bad mom or a bad person? If my boyfriend passed away, I would fully, for sure, read his diary. What? It's almost like having new memories with them in a way, because it's things that you probably haven't heard them talk about, or just like secretive things that will make you, exactly like she's saying, feel closer to them, which is what you want when you're grieving. Okay, new update. Sam saw my Reddit post and is threatening to sue me. Sam made a fake Facebook profile to message me and tell me she wants to sue me for telling strangers about what happened. Derek supports her, apparently. I don't need this. Am I not allowed to vent about my life to people online? I just want life to get better. I'm so tired. F you, Sam. F you, Derek. Edit. Sam is in the comments and messaged me on here, too. Blocked her. Ew, Sam. Bye. That's, like, so hilarious when people turn it around and try to make themselves the victim. Like, I can't believe you're venting about me. Sorry that you are literally a home-wrecking biatch. Okay, OP on the message from Sam. She said, no, I just ignored her. It might be an empty threat just to make my life harder, but I'm unsure. Her message said, so I was scrolling TikTok and ended up on an account where they read Reddit's posts, and guess whose post they read? Yours. First you tell friends and family, and then you go to a bunch of strangers and tell them our life story. I can't believe you. It isn't just your business to tell. Becca would be so disappointed in you. Be prepared, because I think I'm going to be suing for you for this. This was no one else's business. You did this to yourself. Remember that. I'm actually baffled. She thinks Becca would be disappointed in me. WTF. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Becca would be disappointed in you, girl. The top comment says, real curious what they think they're going to sue for. Yeah, for real. A coworker / friend of mine got an email from a member of the gym we work for saying she's being sued for $1 million because she apparently tread on his First Amendment right. He hit on her in a real creepy way, and she rebuffed him and told him no thank you. The letter of intent or whatever was a bunch of dribble and basically incomprehensible. He also spelled her name wrong and didn't even know her last name, so he just put it as lifeguard, her job title, even though the court was like, WTF is this, and threw the case out. That's honestly funny. They just want to make it her fault because the weight of guilt is starting to hurt them, and it can't be their fault, right? It's not because they're terrible, faithless people, surely. Nobody believes they're evil. Everyone has an excuse, however flimsy. Definitely. People don't want to believe that they're trash, so when they do trash things, the mental gymnastics they perform can be astounding. It never fails to amaze me. It's so much simpler to just golden rule through life whenever possible. Yeah, I mean, sorry that you're a bad person. Like, don't do shitty things if you don't want someone to talk shitty about you. Like, sorry. What do you mean? I don't think that any of this would have been posted if the root cause of it didn't happen, which is you, girl, and guy. Both of them. That's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. Oh, I'm kind of feeling nauseous. I think I'm hungry. Okay. Let's see. What is the next story that we want to read? I think I'm going to read this one. The title is My Fiance Took Me on Vacation and Then Broke Up With Me. It's kind of short, but a bit of a backstory. We were supposed to get married a few months ago. There was wedding drama that involved a female family member on my side trying to start shit and basically sabotage my wedding because I didn't invite her. She struggles with mental illness, so her throwing a fit wasn't a shocker, but the resulting family drama was. Anyway, it ended up with us not having enough money for my wedding. It was too close to be able to reschedule a venue, so we decided to cut our losses and get married next year instead. We still had a 2-week Mediterranean cruise scheduled as our honeymoon, so he said we should just go on it as a normal vacation to try and unwind after the disaster of a year I've had so far. It was nice, but near the end he got more and more distant, and once we landed back home, I joked it was back to wedding planning, and he got very serious and admitted that he doesn't think planning a wedding is a very good idea. He said the family bullshit drama had him reconsider and thought that the cruise would soften the blow. I was crying and said I'd cut off the shitty family members, and obviously we would never see this psycho relative ever again, but he said it wasn't just that. I had shitty, crazy family members, and it's been almost a week since he was last home. He's staying with his brother. I'm numb at this point. Everything's gone off the rails. The cruise actually made me feel worse, like he was just wanted to have fun and was using me for sex before dropping me. I effing hate all of this. Okay, I'm confused. There wasn't enough detail given in this. Alright, let's see. I'm going to need a little bit more details. So let's see if there are some details in the comments. Hello. Okay. The top comment says, anyone else remembering the Reddit story where OP blamed the drama on the not invited cousin with mental illness when said cousin's mother was funding the wedding? When the aunt found out her own daughter isn't invited to the wedding she is funding, she withdrew the money. OP then called the cousin and blamed her for having to cancel the wedding because she couldn't afford it on her own. This sounds a lot like an update to that, and if it is, I'm happy your ex-fiance saw the light and dumped you. Interesting. Okay, so apparently she commented, it didn't escalate into violence or anything, just family members dropping out and sending cruel messages when dropping out of the wedding and my mother withdrawing support for a while. It was just hellish because it was paired with normal wedding planning stress. OP is a hateful, transphobic person who constantly misgenders and dead names her cousin. What? How do they know this? Where are they getting this information? Because I want to know this information. And the cousin's mental illness is being trans. OMG. OP is a bigot, and her ex finally realized that she's the problem. Yeah, that was the missing information in the story for the longest, because OP, I knew it looked bad, and the family members are being horrible because they support the trans cousin. OP is a mean and shitty person, and also stupid because, as noted, they had no alternative funding source and needed the aunt's financial support, and it wasn't like it was one-time blowout argument with bridges burned. It was an ongoing discussion where it became clear that the other family members were not going to support OP trying to force gender conformity onto the cousin or exclude them, and the escalation of the argument involved increasingly shitty statements about behavior toward the cousin until the aunt had enough and pulled back. She did this to herself, had the option of being diplomatic about her view of the cousin and get the wedding to go off and have it paid for. She instead was bigoted and entitled, blew up her own life, and then became crying to Reddit to get support, but kept talking about a vague mental illness before finally admitting that the cousin is trans, and up to that point had been misgendering and dead naming them. She just got She got justifiably called out when the details were finally dribbled out. Sounds like the fiance saw her true colors but didn't want to miss out on the paid-for cruise. Also, given the backstory, I would not be surprised if there are more missing details about the fiance has acted, much he directly said to her. Regardless of how I personally felt about trans people, I think a lot of people would be taking a hard look at the emotional maturity and simple intelligence of their partner after watching them blow up their family. I'm stressed. First of all, the way that she's like weaponizing a mental illness before we even get to the transgender stuff, weaponizing a mental illness and saying, oh my God, she has a mental illness, and acting like that way about it, being like, she has a mental illness, so I I hate her because she does this and this and this. Okay, well, she has a mental illness. And I've said so many times before, that doesn't excuse your actions, obviously, but it does contribute to the actions, which is not controlled by the person. If they have a mental illness, that makes them do certain things. And untreated mental illnesses are very, very serious. So don't weaponize a mental illness as a reason to like shit talk this girl. That's really crazy to me, especially when you're an adult. Like, I think when I was younger, I definitely had a little bit of a different outlook on mental illness, just because I was younger and I didn't have that much experience with it, and I hadn't yet developed or really found what, I don't know how I'm saying this. I hadn't yet developed my own mental illness that I now have, unfortunately. And I was just like a young kid in middle school, high school, that was just seeing like my sister, for example, make decisions that to me just seemed like, why is she doing that? Oh my God. Like, that it was just her doing that. But like eventually I realized as I grew up that it was because of mental illness that made her act certain ways and do certain things. And back then, like, I just kind of thought like, oh my God, it's so annoying. Why is she always like this, you know? But obviously as I got older, I got more wise. I got more knowledge, more information about things like this. I mean, I wasn't that educated on mental illness, as I don't think a lot of people are, especially when they don't really deal with it. And not only that, but I grew up in a really small town where like things like this weren't like, they were more, not that they weren't common, but no one wanted to come out and be open about things like this, because in a small town, at least like my small town, it was like, oh, you're weird, you have bipolar, or like you have bipolar or you have depression, oh, you're weird, you know? Like, it wasn't like a thing like that. And also a lot of older people, or like the parents in my town, would just be like, oh, just go on a walk, oh, just go outside, get some fresh air, you know? Like, it was very much, you don't have a mental illness, you just need to like exercise for 30 minutes and then you will feel all better. And like, not just dismissing like mental illness was a lot of it. And to kind of tie into that with like LGBTQ in my town, because it was a small town, it was very much like not accepted. There was not that many gay people, lesbian people. I mean, they probably were, but they just were not out because it was just not like a thing in my town. It was just everyone looked down on it. Like, I feel like there was one out gay person in my entire town, genuinely, who is now transgender and could not like fully come out of being transgender, because of like, I think a big part of it was because of our town and the way that they would be looked at. But now they're out and doing amazing. But I don't know where I was getting with this, but I just think it's so crazy to weaponize any kind of mental illness, whether that is bipolar, depression, or gender dysphoria. So, and I think I'm I'm not like 100% super knowledgeable in transgender or like LGBTQ kind of stuff, but I'm pretty sure that is I've listened to my friend talk about it a good amount, and I'm pretty sure that is like the PC term. It's what was I saying? Oh, gender dysphoria. And then like correct me if I'm wrong, but if someone has gender dysphoria, they are the treatment is transitioning, correct? Or not correct? I don't know, but that's what I'm pretty sure that's what it is, because it's obviously like it's not like, oh, you have gender dysphoria? Okay, well, here, come to therapy and we will convince you that you don't. That you are supposed to be this gender. Like, I'm pretty sure it's the opposite of like you go through transitioning, and then most likely you feel a lot better because you are in your true self that you know that you are in your brain, but it's just not represented like that in the outside. But anyways, I don't know why I just got so deep into that and like the intricacies of it, but I'm kind of like knowledgeable about that stuff. Not like knowledgeable, but like I have people in my life that are transgender and LGBTQ, so I have like a little bit of knowledge, I think. And I just don't understand, like it really makes me so annoyed when people are so outwardly like against this kind of stuff. It just is so, it's upsetting because it's just like, what in the world, how does this affect you that someone else feels better being this way? Like, I just don't understand it. Okay, anyways, sorry about that one. That was just a lot of work to get into. But all in all, with that being said, this girl, if this is true about what these comments are saying, I'm gonna have to say that I don't like this girl. And she is a bitch. Because, like I said, weaponizing any type of mental illness is just wrong to me. And especially just like being so broad about it in your original post, being like, oh, she's a mental illness, and like trying to get people on your side when you know for a fact that you're being so broad because you just know that it's not the right thing to say and that you are in the wrong. If you look up Reddit OP doesn't want to invite mentally unstable cousin to wedding, it has a few Boru posts. The timeline and details match pretty well. Can someone tell me what Boru means? Because I don't know what that means, and I always see it on here. I'm sure it's like a synonym for best of Reddit updates. Is that what it is? It looks like she deleted all of her previous posts. I think they're on Boru. Oh, could you please also help send it to me? I couldn't find it and I'm dying of curiosity. Can't find the link, but from what I remember, the cousin was trans, mask, I believe, and she kept misgendering and dead naming them and demanding that they wear a dress. Ew. Which is what she means with mental illness. The mother of that person was the bride's aunt funding the wedding and understandably got angry and withdrew her funding. And many of the relatives were supportive of them and outraged about her behavior. She threw a big pity party on Reddit because she felt entitled to the aunt's money despite trampling all over her child, and obviously got flamed into oblivion. Not the forcing them to wear a dress. What in the world? That's just insane. Ew, I hate. Ew. Ah, yes, mental illness. That's what someone said, which I just cannot with that. And wasn't it that the mental illness was that her cousin was trans and she was upset that her cousin wouldn't dress? Oh, sorry. We already read that. That's just insane. I just hate mean people. Like, I just saw this TikTok the other day, and it's this. Let me know if you've seen it. Leave a comment if you've seen this TikTok. This girl is in an apron, and she's like talking about women being gold diggers and saying, like, you probably think that because you're in Miami interviewing a bunch of whores. And then she just casually talks about, I forget how she says it, but something about immigrants getting off the boat and says the N word. Like, what? All in one video. I was shook. It was like, I was like this in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. Like, genuinely, I was so confused. I went to her profile and I was looking, and like, she made some update videos, and she's like, if you're offended, like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, girl, what do you mean if you're offended? You just offended like 5 different groups of people in one video. And you thought, like, oh, this is cute. This is cute. I should post this. Girl. Sometimes, like, I think that sometimes it's getting like a bit too much, and it's like, oh, you really can't say anything. But then there's just the common sense, like, you don't say that, like, those types of things. You just don't say that. Like, sometimes it definitely is a little bit skewed on like a certain point where it's like, okay, I can't say, like, I don't really know an example, to be honest. I'm trying to think like of an example that I could say, but I can't really think of one. But I just feel like sometimes people are like very, very sensitive about something that isn't really like that big of a deal. But then it's like, okay, there's also just common sense knowledge that you don't say, or let alone even just think these things. Like, you're interviewing people that just got off the boat. Like, sorry? I'm sorry, what? That is just very offensive. And I'm just confused because obviously there are people in the world that are going to be offensive, but it's like, really that blatant you have to be offensive? Like, you can't just call someone like a bitch. Like, you're what? You have to be so in detail, and so it's so obvious that you have some type of discriminatory beliefs up there, girl. And it's kind of scary. Okay, let's read this one. Am I the asshole for hitting a Karen after she grabbed my baby? Yesterday I was at the park with my 6-month-old daughter, Emily. It was a nice day and I was just enjoying some time outside with her. I had her in a stroller and we were sitting on a bench when this normal, crazy looking Karen came up to us. She started making small talk, which was fine at first, but then she started asking all these personal questions about Emily. How old she was, if she was breastfed or bottle fed, stuff like that. It was getting uncomfortable, so I tried to politely end the combo. Suddenly, she reached into the stroller and picked up Emily without asking. I freaked out and told her to put my baby down. She ignored me and started cooing and making faces at Emily. I was panicking and yelling at her to give my daughter back, but she just wouldn't listen. In that moment, my protective instincts kicked in. I grabbed Emily out of her arms and pushed her away. She stumbled back and I slapped her, and I think I might have hit her with something because she started bleeding from her nose. She started screaming that I assaulted her and was going to call the police. A crowd started gathering, and some people were telling her that she was out of lines, were looking at me while others were looking at me like I was the crazy one. I got out of there as fast as I could and went straight home. I was shaking and just couldn't believe what had happened. Now I'm worried about what might come next. Did I overreact? Should I have handled it differently? No. I'm pretty sure if the cops were called, you could just be like, she legit took my baby out of her stroller. Like she was going to kidnap her. So I punched her in the face. Pretty sure that is completely fine. Not the asshole. Touched the kid without permission. I'll touch you without permission. With a fist to the face, you should call the police. Honestly, talk to an attorney before you tell the police that you've put your hands on someone. Not the asshole. I love little babies. I would cuddle with every infant if I could. If I see a baby on the street, I'll smile and say hi. On occasion, I'll compliment the parent on how adorable their child is, and sometimes even ask how old it is. I would never ever touch that baby, and I most definitely wouldn't take it. She should have been punched. Yeah, I mean, in what world would you ever pick up someone's baby without permission? Like, the amount of babies I see in strollers a day at this apartment that I walk a dog at, if I just like picked up every single baby, I'm pretty sure I would literally be dead by now, because who would ever do that? And they have every right to punch me in the face. Yeah, I had some random old lady try to pick my 2-year-old son up when they were at the mall. He was never that keen on people, and he didn't know grabbing him. What? He was never that keen on people he didn't know grabbing him, so he shied away as she grabbed his jumper. I smacked her hands away and told her to F off while he was grabbing my leg. My kiddo didn't like her vibe, and she acted all insulted. You fathers babysitting have no idea BS. Flip side, at a winery with a nice duck pond, he's walking around on the grass, pointing at ducks, etc. There's 5 odd ladies standing around, and he walks past them. They wave at him, and he waves back. Does his kid running around thing before going up to what looked like a grandma and holding his hands up to her. She picks him up, and it was the cutest thing ever. He's pointing out all the ducks to her, and they all are talking away. So that's the story of how we have some random photos of our 2-year-old with a Chinese grandma. That's funny. That's actually kind of crazy that the kid just like came up to someone and put their hands up. What if she was like not a good person? I probably just wouldn't want anyone to really touch my kid, honestly. Even if they were like putting their arms up. Like, I don't think if a kid came up to me and put their arms up, I would laugh. Like, I would just be like, oh, haha. And then I would probably like look at the parent and then maybe like exchange some words and be like, is it okay if I pick them up? Like, I wouldn't just be like, let me just grab this little kid. Okay, well, I don't know. I think we only read 3 stories that episode because I think I was yapping a little bit too much on this episode. I'm so sorry. I'm interested to see what you guys think about these stories, and let me know in the comments below. Also, feel free to correct me on anything that I said wrong, because I don't want to be spreading misinformation or even just having misinformation in my mind. So if you know anything that I was saying that was maybe wrong, because obviously I myself, like, referring to the mental illness / LGBTQ stuff, I myself am not in the LGBTQ community, although I am an ally, but I don't know everything, and I'm not like a professional at, like, I'm not reading books and being like updating every day of my life. I don't know what I'm saying right now. I didn't mean to say updating. I'm not like I'm not a professional, okay? I'm not a professional on this kind of information, and all I know is like what I know with people in my life and like what I've heard from people that are a part of the LGBTQ community. So that's all I can really base my information off of, but I could be wrong, and I would love to actually know if I'm wrong or if I'm right. So let me know. But anyways, that was a lot of yapping today, and I'm so sorry. We only got to 3 stories. I feel like we only usually get to like 3 or 4 anyways, so it's not really that big of a deal. But sometimes I'm like, I feel bad because I definitely am like yapping, and I'm wondering if anything that I'm saying is even making sense at this point. But yeah. I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so starving right now, and I'm about to go to the gym, which is not a good combination. Like, I'm really, really hungry. My stomach is like about to growl as loud as possible. But I don't want to eat before I go to the gym, because then I'll just throw up. If I don't throw up from being like hungry, I'll throw up from being not hungry and being too full and going to the gym, because that's like the worst possible feeling, is going to the gym after you're eating. But anyways, I really hope you enjoyed. Like, comment. You guys know I always say this in every episode, and I'm going to say it for the rest of my life. Comment, because I love to talk to you guys. And subscribe and share this with a friend or family. And I love you. And bye.